Hello, it's David Ship here from Coaching Construction, and welcome to this third and final instalment on a subject we're looking at called situational leadership or management styles. The first video we looked at the actual model, which is up on the board here, to do with directed behaviour and supported behaviour, and then looking at the individual management styles that go along with those different types of, or a combination of those different levels of that behaviour. The second video we were looking at maturity. So how do you deem someone's stage of development in terms of a task or a job they're doing? So as a manager or a supervisor or a foreman, your role is to actually put people to work and set them tasks. But you also you want to have the confidence to know that that person completes that task, because it's all well and good like actually setting a task, but you want it actually completing. And what this model is great at, and I think I've said it before, is that it's a way of looking at all your individual team members and a team as a whole, really, is that, you know, what management style should I be using? So I've said it in the first video, I think, is that when we do the training is we do a questionnaire and people find out what their dominant management style is. So really this model comes into its own is when you actually realise that you need the skills in all of these four, because it all depends on someone's stage of development. So let's look at this. So let's look at someone who has come to you, they're fresh out of college, and you're setting them a task for the first time. Now, we've already said in the second video is that, you know, their experience, they might have the knowledge and the skills, they're probably very motivated because they're fresh out of college, they're excited, they want to get on with the job. They might be confident, whether that will be like overconfidence, just thinking, yes, I can do this. But that one thing on the competence side will be experience. So it depends what the task is and what you're setting them to, and I suppose what the repercussions would be is if you just let them do it. But there is a certain process using this theory and model is great to look at. Is you'll see on the board now, what I've done is I've done this blue line, and basically what this is the pathway to maturity. And this is the pathway that basically whenever you look at an individual and you're setting them a task and getting to know them, is to look at where they are on this pathway of maturity. So I don't need to explain, but basically the number one here is you know, they don't have their stage of development is very, very low, and then as you move through to 4 is that their stage of development is, you know, I suppose beyond yours, and you know, they're absolutely you know, they've got the confidence, the motivation, they know what they're doing in terms of knowledge, skills, ability and experience. But when we look at someone who's just come out of college, very new, is that really the management style that we should be looking at is directing. So, you know, they do need high direction, and they do need they might need low support in first instance, because it's where if we're looking at moving beyond that and going into coaching, is that like that's a two-way conversation. But it's very difficult if someone's never done a job before and you're starting to have a two-way conversation, because really they need to have a certain amount of experience doing something, and then you can have a two-way conversation. So early days in terms of someone who's like, you know, low stage of development, low maturity, is that directing would be the best management style to get them going. When that person, so the college leaver, maybe they've been there for a couple of months, or maybe they've done the job, the task that you've asked them to a few times, is that then actually start looking at, okay, well, the big thing about this model and the benefit to you as a manager and supervisor, and I've spoken about this in the first video, is time. Is that directing takes time, coaching takes more time, but if you never get past coaching, you never get the benefits of getting your time back. Equally, if you spend your whole time directing people, they'll be coming to you, and it sets a precedence that, you know, I'm just told what to do and that's what I'm going to do. But we want people to take on and develop through this process. And the way to do that is to follow these different management styles up to the point where you can delegate work to and feel confident that it's going to be done in the time that you want it to, the standard that you want to, and just generally have the trust in that person. So we've looked at a college leaver, so probably starting off in directing. Someone else who's come into who's joined on board, maybe further along the maturity, so they've got more experience, they've got more knowledge, more skills, ability. They're still motivated, and they have the confidence. So would we be directing them? A lot of people do, and I said in the first video that you've met these people that will just tell you what to do. The problem that happens, and I don't need to tell you if you've been very good at your job, you know what you're doing, and really yes, you might be in the coaching, need to be managed in coaching so that your manager or supervisor above you has the confidence that you can do it. But really we want to be looking at more kind of the supportive and delegating roles there, styles there, like less direction. So someone who's had lots and lots of experience, their stage of development, their maturity is very, very high. And that's really where you want to be, on the left hand side of this model or managing from the left hand side of the model. One thing to go back to the person who has very new to a task, is that their motivation might be very high, but what can happen is their motivation can dip. So it's not just a one-way process. It's that different things will come up along the development stages, that when people hit a plateau in terms of knowledge, that motivation can dip. So then it's working on, right, well, how do I get that person to bring the motivation up so that then they can actually carry on with the knowledge, increasing that, and then moving more through to more developing themselves. So they're two things to look at. So someone who's completely new, and then someone who is excellent at what they do, better than you, everything else. And then obviously in between is that you've got coaching and supportive management styles. And as I say, as a manager, a supervisor, foreman, it is your role to pick out, okay, where is someone in terms of how good they are? And don't fall into the trap of just picking your dominant management style. We do this questionnaire because we want to make people aware of, okay, well, at the moment, where would they manage people? Because it's maybe not sometimes it's right and you'll hit the nail on the head and it's the right thing to be doing, but then other times you can be causing issues. So and this will go for a lot of people that are watching this video, is that you might be really, really good at what you're doing, but someone is directing you what to do. So they're and you know how it feels. It feels as if they're teaching you to suck eggs, shall we say, and it doesn't really show, and give you justice that where you are in terms of development. So that's the third and final installment of this situational leadership. There's so much more I could go into. As I say, on the training that we do, we basically do a questionnaire at the start to see where people are actually, what their dominant management style is. And then what we do is we basically go through the model to look at, this maturity. Often people get, their own awareness of I had that boss that treated me like this, and all he did is just tell me what to do, and he's like, I was like, I knew what to do, he could have just left me to it, but because of it my motivation went down. And often in a lot of cases is because people move through this curve of development. There, people want to learn, people want to develop, but the managers and the supervisors above them stay down this end here, and that basically one of the major reasons why people move jobs is that their manager is treating them like a down here, giving them lots of high direction, whereas really they want to be, someone wants to be coached. They want to be They don't want to just be told, oh, what to do. It's more about two-way conversations and then reducing the direction and then finally into delegating, but always having that support from their manager. So that's the final installment of this 3-part training on situational leadership and management styles. If you'd like to know more, then subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do lots of videos on here, and if you're interested in any courses that we run, online courses or in-house courses, then please contact us at office@coachingconstruction.com, and we'd be happy to answer any queries. So it's David Shipp for coachingconstruction.com, and stay safe and take care. Bye bye.